And we are live. And
LIVE.
welcome
Woo!
back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. And once again, I got the bum AJ up in the casa after a very, very decisive Game 6 victory, a 30-piece, if you will, to send us to
My
the
goodness.
Western Conference Finals.
Ooh.
What
Ooh.
a fantastic Friday night.
Ooh.
Absolute dominant victory. I couldn't be happier with how this team played and how we performed tonight.
Oh my
So
goodness.
much to dive into, so much to like about what we achieved. But when I look at this game, first and foremost, um, I think we have to start with the play from Steph Castle. I,
Of course.
I
Of
think
course.
I think that's where we got to start. What were you seeing from his game tonight?
Attack. Attack. Attack, 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 attack. And it was so much fun to watch. Just we talked about this on the pregame episode. Like, what adjustments are the Timberwolves going to make? What are they going to do? What are we going to do? How is it going to come down? And dude, they try to put Rudy Gobert on Steph Castle, and he just put him in the dungeon. It was over before it even started. Then, I mean, one thing that we talked about is like, Steph Castle hitting 3-pointers. Guess what? He hit 3-pointers. Guess what? He had 30 points. Guess what? We had a decisive win. Like, I don't even know what to say right now because we stepped up in the biggest way we could possibly step up in a closeout game on the road. Again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you brought up the 3-point shooting from Steph Castle. That is such a monumental part of tonight and how he was able to just shoot with confidence, whether it was a one dribble pull up or a catch and shoot situation. Um, there was times where we relied on a lot of early production from Wemby, and it felt like Steph
Yes.
Castle was that early engine this game. He had
Oh
14
man.
points in that first 8 minutes, shooting, from deep with confidence. And that 14 points was the most of any quarter he had this entire season. So just a really, really fantastic way to start the game. And I'm really, really pleased that he was answering that call because
Oh my god, yeah.
that was such a question about his game is when they played drop coverage and they sagged off on him. I mean, we were talking about it going back to the very beginning of the Portland series. Like that was how
Yep.
you defended him. You just sagged off and let him shoot. And now you physically cannot do that because he will make you pay. And he goes 5 for 7 from beyond the arc tonight, just really showcasing how much he's improved on that end.
What I everything about tonight, Rob. Like, I tried to take notes. I really did. I tried, but the entire time I'm just like, what we're watching right now is just such a fun thing to watch. Like, top to bottom, left to right, side to side. It doesn't matter. Wimby was in his bag. Castle was in his bag. Oh, where are my deer and Fox haters at? Where they at? Where they at? I want to hear them.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean,
All right, cool.
De'Aaron Fox, yeah, he had an amazing game as well. It's really solid, 21 points on only 10 shots. I mean, anytime you impact the game with taking that little shots, I mean, yeah, the 8 for 10 shooting, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, 9 dimes, and only one turnover, just really impacting the game in a major way. And there was not a single starter that was below a plus 14 on the plus minus. So it was just really our starters went out there, started a baseline level of domination, and that just kept us pushing through the rest of the game. Just really started out strong, didn't turn back.
No, and I want to ask you, what do you think about Julius Randle starting on Wimby to kind of start the game, and then like it just didn't work. Like it just Wimby kind of struggled, but the problem was you put Randall on Wimby, and then that leaves everyone else to go munch, and then that's exactly what happened. Like how many you got Castle had 14 points in that first quarter, going straight downhill, a couple easy layups. The paint opened up because not only is Julius Randle away from the paint, but so is Rudy Gobert, and they're trying to figure out like switches and stuff. So in a game 6, you're trying to do something new on defense, and they weren't ready at all. I mean, they were not ready on defense at all. And then offensively, again, we just stifled them, just could not figure it out at all. Like just left and right, up, down, side to side. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we were really frustrating them a lot, and their shot selection really showed. I mean, Anthony Edwards, 24 points on 26 shots. I mean, very, very ineffective
Yeah.
basketball. Julius Randle. I mean, there was a point mid third quarter where I was looking at the box score, and he and Jaden McDaniels were both 1 of 7 from the field. And it was just a really big recipe for us frustrating them, and it was like all the stars aligned where we shot well
Yep.
from beyond
Yep.
the arc, 47% from deep, while consistently limiting their good shot attempts. And man, that is a recipe to just blow them out of the water, and you see that with a 30-point win.
I mean, we got up to 29 points. They dropped it down to whatever it was at halftime. I think it was what, like 14, 13, something to that effect. They were able to get a big chunk of it off. But then when we started the third quarter, I mean, just we came out so hot, and then it just steamrolls, and then one person starts to hit, and then the next person starts to hit, and then it's just an avalanche. And then on top of all that, Luke Cornett, 4 blocks tonight. Shout out to Luke Cornett for coming out big, especially when we needed someone to step up with non-Wimby minutes. He comes in, has four blocks, has a handful of points, and just everything that could go right for us just went absolutely right for us. And this just hard work and effort. And then, I mean, we were 8 minutes left in the game and they're waving the white flag. Like that's how you know this just got out of hand. Anthony Edwards during the timeout just walks over to the bench and he's like, "Good game, good game, good game, good game," and like that, it just I'm so proud of this team right now. I have no words. I really, Rob, I want to find the words. I want to have a dialogue, but it's so hard because everything we did tonight was just championship level basketball. It really was.
Right. I think it's important to enjoy what we saw tonight and then bask in that goodness, but only for a short period of time because we know
Of
what's
course.
on we know what's on the horizon. But at the end of the day, yes, like when all the stars align, we're shooting well from beyond the arc. We're battling and winning the rebounding battle with ease, and we're getting putbacks. And this was a night where we shot 18 less shots than the Timberwolves, and we beat them by 30 points. This is an
Like just
absolutely insane combination of how we played this game tonight. Um, Not only just winning this rebounding battle very decisively, 60-29, but really, really affecting the game in so many different ways. So, yeah, I look at how we achieved this win tonight, and if we take this into next series, then I'm not very worried, but I also know that we're not going to shoot 40%, 7% from three every single game. So
no, no.
we need to continue to do the little things like go out there, rebound well, limit stupid turnovers, which was a little bit of an issue tonight. We had 16 turnovers tonight
Yeah.
versus their 5, which I would love if we could force a little bit more turnovers, but at the same time, a lot to like about how we played tonight. We touched on Steph Castle a little bit and a little bit of De'Aaron Fox, but I mean, obviously, we got to talk about Wemby. What were you liking about Wemby tonight?
He was ready. He was ready, and I don't. And again, like it's the adjustments that we're able to make during the game. We're able to read on the court in real time because I don't know if we were ready for Randall, or maybe we talked about what the situation would be if Randall was guarding Wimby early on. And I think we probably I'm assuming we did because we're a very cerebral team. So whenever we're talking about Randall being on Wimby, the backup plan was, all right, we're just going to attack, and we're going to make them really, really, really defend us on the perimeter. And I mean, obviously, Steph Castle hitting 3-pointers helps out dramatically whenever he's pulling people away from the paint, and then he's able to attack. And then, like, I think in the first quarter, it was just paint points and 3-pointers, paint points and 3-pointers. One thing we've been hammering on this podcast is get the ball in the paint, score your paint points. I want to say we were 100% from our guards from paint shots in the first quarter. And then just when you have that kind of just barrage of people coming down the paint, it just opens up everything. And then Champagne had his struggles, but then he hit 3-pointers in the beginning of the fourth quarter and just put the whole thing away.
Yeah, we had so many guys hitting multiple threes and helping us space the floor. And like you were saying, that points in the paint battle is so important to us. Just getting to the easy spots and creating just really simple opportunities that opens up everything else. And Champagne with 4 threes tonight, Fox with 3, Vassell with 3, Castle with 5. And and even guys like Harper and Barnes and Olynyk who come in and hit one singular 3, they're doing
Yeah.
it with efficiency as well. So there was just so much to like about how we produced things offensively. But it was also, I felt like, a lot of the defense that we displayed as
Oh,
well,
dude, the
because
defense.
there was that really magnificent 20-0 run in the second quarter that where while we were doing some really good things in the transition, we were simultaneously holding them to 0 for 12 to start that quarter, I
Yep.
believe. And when I look at it through that lens, those are the kind of quarters that can just really win you basketball games and stretch out that lead.
No points from Rudy Gobert, and Julius Randle had 3 points. So that kind of shows you what we talked about. And it's like, all right, well, Anthony Edwards is going to be Anthony Edwards. He went 9 for 26. Like 9 for 26 is not going to win you a game. And because I feel another we might we was here. Right. And then crystal ball next door, these computers, because we predicted Julius Randle just not going to come up big at all, and he just disappeared again.
Yeah, he did some normal Julius Randle stuff, and like I was saying earlier, just yeah, he was 1 for 7 mid third quarter. Obviously, finished 1 for 8. Just really didn't find his rhythm this game, and largely that was the story of this entire series for him. And anytime you score about 20 points a game during the regular season, and then you half that for an entire playoff series, that it leaves a lot to be desired. And um yeah, there's definitely some Julius Randle moments that I was glad that we were able to kind of dupe him into being the player that we know was going to fall up short. But man, yeah, that first half was so dominant, and I love when we show a strong sense of urgency at the beginning of the game like that.
Yep.
That 74 first half points was the second most first half points in Spurs playoff history. And so I think that the more I see halves like that, it makes me feel like we are at a polished level offensively, and we can stop anyone on the
Yes.
defensive end.
And Booty Gobert shows up in the worst way possible in this closeout game too. I mean, Booty Gobert he had 0 points, over 4, and 3 rebounds. Your 7-footer had 3 rebounds in a closeout game. You're not going to win many games that way. And then Naz Reid, shout out to Naz Reid. He was the only one that really played with any kind of urgency for the T-Wolves. But those are the types of things that just you see your prey, you attack your prey, and you just stomp them out. Like that's what we did. We walked into Minnesota, we came out with a victory. I don't have Rob, I want to have words for this game, but it was just such a joy to watch because we're just seeing this team grow. Keep in mind, this is our what? Let's see, we 6 games plus 5. So this is our 11th game as the new let's call them the new Spurs, if you will. And we're playing incredible basketball at the right point. 139 points. in a closeout game on the road going into the Western Conference Finals, I can't ask for a better recipe for success than what we saw tonight. I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, we did so much that, that's gonna leave your smile just really, really large on your face, and one of the things that I was smiling about was the fact that De'Aaron Fox wasn't limited by that ankle injury. There was that moment where he kind of ran
That
back
was
to the
concerning.
he ran back to the locker room, and you kind of were like, okay, is this just like a precautionary thing? Is he going to be getting it tested at halftime? And it was really you know a, not a thing to worry about at all when you saw how he was getting to his shot in that second half and really creating for others. And so I was worried for a brief moment, but then when I saw how he approached that second half, just yeah, those worries were left in the wind. But yes, De'Aaron Fox is going to be pivotal moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, just now's the time. Like, we did what we wanted to do. We got the win, get out healthy. Everyone got to sit the final 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. We got some guys some good minutes. I mean, Keldon Johnson had 0 points, but again, a game that we really didn't need a whole lot of Keldon Johnson tonight because Steph Castle was the one that was kind of doing what he needed to do. And I mean, just the the shoot just as a lot of confidence was it's a sheet. I think team and be in I think just watch this team be experienced and immature.
All right, it looks like we may have lost AJ. He was kind of spazzing out there for a second, but we will look to get him back in. But yes, there was a lot to like about that game. We had talked about Castle going absolutely unconscious for a little while. I think that was probably the most promising thing that we saw. And at times they were daring him to shoot, and at other times they were even closing out on his 3-point opportunities, and he was still hitting them. So it really, really leaves me a lot of confidence moving forward because that's what the Oklahoma City Thunder are gonna do. They're gonna press up on him. J-Dub, Caruso, like Blue Dort, these are guys that are gonna be physical, get up in his business, and really try to create a lot of frustration. So the fact that we have a lot of momentum moving forward, not only with our downhill attackers, but with our shooters. I mean, there was a moment with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Devin Vassell were 11 for 14 from beyond the arc. And this is a recipe for absolutely cooking when we're playing this well. Uh, so absolutely nice to have this amount of momentum moving forward. Uh, but also a couple other things that I was really, really enjoying. I love to see how we attacked the zone. There was a couple of different times throughout the night tonight where they ran some zone looks. They ran a zone look at the end of a quarter, and
Mm-hmm.
even though we didn't get the bucket, I still liked how we were able to generate a wide open opportunity. So yeah, just any of their defensive looks, I was really, really pleased with how we responded.
Yeah, and it was great to see just it's so crazy to watch like Dylan Harper attack the basket compared to De'Aaron Fox compared to Steph Castle because they all have very unique ways to do it, but they all end up with the same result. And it's cool to see Steph Castle just like head down, crank that ball back, and try to yam it on everybody. And then you have De'Aaron Fox, who whatever reason he's able to make a move, and then the floodgates just open wide up, and he's able to make an open layup. And then you have Dylan Harper, who knocked out a spin move, and I think left Dasum gone and just laid it in for the easy layup too. So it's just it's an all attack from the guards. And when we play the Thunder in this next round, they're gonna have their hands full. They're gonna have their hands full with this guard trio for sure.
Yeah, with the level of confidence that we're playing with, it's just yeah, we have too many guys that can be dynamic and just really dominate you. I mean, we really even haven't talked about Dylan Harper yet. I mean, and he had a really efficient game, 6 for 8 from the field, 15 points, 5 rebounds. And it seems like he's been one of our more active offensive rebounders over the last couple of games. It just seems like he's ready to crash the glass and be play bigger than he really naturally is. So this is what you want to see from some of your bench guys, especially when Keldon, he stepped up last game, but then tonight he was kind of absentee. So it's nice to see Harper stepping up and having this kind of bench production.
I mean, also just Devin Vassell and seeing what he's able to do too, just with the limited touches that he gets nowadays. Just the way that Wimby's able to find him in good spots, and I mean, a lot of it just has to do with great passing too. Like whenever you're a shooter, you want that ball like right here, so you can just go straight up. And like it's just what we teach as a Spurs organization to put the ball right in the pocket, so they're able to just go easy shot. And I mean, just Devin, Devin attack and Devin shoot. Julian Champagny finally hit a handful of 3-pointers, so I'm gonna be looking for that in this next round. See if we can get more of those types of easy buckets for Julian Champagny too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see a lot more corner threes being generated and wing three opportunities. I mean, a lot of that good stuff. And I was really pleased with the free throw shooting. That was another thing that stuck out to me tonight. Is we got to the line 27 times, hit 23 of them, and 85% is usually not where we're at as a team. We're usually sub 80. Chilling somewhere in the high mid 70s, and even some of our more, sure-handed guards, whether it's Castle, Harper, Fox, they're all chilling in the 70s. So I think nights like tonight where we shoot mid 80s, and if we can even push it to high 80s, that can be something that wins us some close games.
Yeah, 1,000. And I mean, yeah, that's going to get us over the hump. Those are the things that we should have done in game 1 and game 4, but here we are, game 6, and you were right, Rob. You were 1,000% right. The games that we won were decisive. They weren't even close. I mean, just not even a contest. So I'm assuming our average margin of victory was somewhere in the 20s, give or take.
Yeah, I mean, it was over 20 before this game. And so, after this, a 30-point victory, wouldn't surprise me if it was mid 20s, 24, 25 points a game. That would make sense for this average margin. But yeah, absolutely nuts how the games we won, it felt like it was a landslide, an absolute avalanche that the Timberwolves just couldn't fight against. So I think that's a symbol of where we're at as a team and what we can do to teams that are good playoff
Yeah.
experienced teams.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll get into it in a preview episode at some point here in the future, but you know, the way that we're playing right now, I can see this team just continue to steamroll. Like it's going to take a lot to beat this team. And I mean, think about the games that we won, right? Yes, we've had several games where a lot of people scored, double figures. We've had games where, everyone played well or someone played outstanding. Keldon Johnson with 21 points. But then, like, even if those things aren't happening, we have the biggest safety net of all time, and that's Victor Wembanyama. So even if things aren't clicking on offense, we can still just give the ball to the 7-5 guy, and he can put the ball in the hoop. And when you have just so many different layers of attack, we're able to compete and we're able to be where we're at. And there's no question kind of where we're at right now because we're going to be playing the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. It was destined to happen. It was going to happen, and now it's here. Not be ready. I'm so excited. Next round. I
Oh
cannot
yeah.
wait to see this next test. Dude, I like to describe it as I would imagine, I don't have kids, but I would imagine watching your kids study for a test and then coming back with an A. That's how I feel about this Spurs team right now. They're out there and I'm like, all right, here's the test. Hope you guys studied. And then they come back and like, I got an A. And you're like, yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it feels like an A plus. There's no way to not feel absolute pride for this team and the what we've accomplished so far, and to beat a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves the way we did it. If Wemby doesn't go down with that ejection that game, we win in 5 and we win decisively. So
Yeah.
this is a situation where I'm very thrilled moving forward, and we have a very very interesting matchup against the Oklahoma City Thunder, but we will get to that at a later point in time. Let's bask in the glory that is this game 6 victory. We are moving on to the Western Conference Finals, and we are winning playoff series like we are a veteran team over here, and it is great to see.
I love it. It's San Antonio's a party right now, dog. I'm gonna go honking. I'm out of here.
Dude, I don't blame you. If I didn't have work incredibly early, I'd go out honking as well, my friend. Uh yes, indeed. But any other notes that you need to get to? Any other stuff about this game? I know it was a very routine victory, and we were just absolutely bashing them for so much of the game. But any other things that stood out to you?
Just, I mean, man, I don't have, I just do not have words because this team is just beyond what my expectations were. We thought it was going to be a collision course for the Western Conference Finals, but like if you told us back in October, hey, you're going to be one of the final four teams left in this tournament, and you're like, I'll take that all day. But again, talked about in the offseason too, Rob, is no one's ready for year 3 Wimby. And so far, nobody is ready for year 3 Wimby.
Yeah, no one is ready for year 3 Wemby. They're trying to forecast uh what he could do and what he could accomplish, but he seems to just absolutely be just blowing all of that out of the water with what he's achieved and the number he's putting up. But yeah, we have an entire new series to unfold against Oklahoma City. So yeah, we're going to be putting out some episodes before that, some preview episodes, breaking down everything to do with that series. And yeah, just kind of ramping up things and all the excitement to do, all the excitement there. Wemby versus Shea, the MVP battle. There's just so much to like about this matchup, but also Chet versus Wemby. They definitely don't like each other, so we're gonna see how that looks in a playoff like setting. Uh,
Yep.
but like we said, we're gonna break all that down at a later point in time. We're just gonna bask in the victory that is this game 6.
And here's what I absolutely love the most.
All right, my dude. I think you froze a little bit over here. We were about to hear what you were loving the most, and then I think you froze. But yeah, I think we got to move on just a little bit. If there was no other notes, then I think we got to get into some dunky dunks. If you're still feeling dunky, if you're still with me, my dude. But that being said, yeah, I think my dunk tonight is going to have to be on Anthony Edwards. It's been a while since I've seen somebody do something as corny as not waiting until the end of the game to dap up the other team. I mean, I understand you're down 25 plus, there's 8 minutes left in the fourth. So the game is over essentially. Where they're clearing the benches, but there's this like ceremonial aspect of it where you shouldn't just be like, all right, the game's done, and then we're just gonna phone it in for the rest of the game. You should at least have some pride enough to just wait till the end of the game and then just go shake their hands. So this is really super corny to me. And Anthony Edwards, I'm gonna have to dunk on you for this because it's just beyond lame. I thought you were more of a competitor than this. I would want you to see the entire game through before you just go dap up the other team. And, it is what it is, but just a small dunk, just a little rim grazer. But yeah, everybody, if you're still in here after the Spurs Wolves game 6 breakdown, that satisfying breakdown after that wonderful win, where we just did all of the simple things. When we shot well, we hit our open threes, when we had good catch and shoot opportunities, we absolutely crucified them in the points in the paint battle, and the rebounding just absolutely out toughed them. And that's the case when you out rebound somebody 60 to 29. It just is a recipe for winning that game and getting a lot more high percentage opportunities. So just an absolutely dominant win tonight, and we did all of the things well. So it was a really, really satisfying victory, because not only that, but when it's more of a team victory, it gives me confidence, because I love to see Wemby go out there and drop a 35-40 piece and just have it lead to a solid victory. But at the end of the day, I love to see this victory where, Steph Castle steps up. We have good production from Harper off the bench. Fox has one of the most efficient games I've seen from him in a while. And sure, Wemby has his 19 and 6 and, does his thing. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of good production around him. And I feel as if this is something that you can really hang your hat on and build moving forward. So I'm really, really pleased with how we closed out this game tonight. But everyone, if you're still in here after the Spurs T-Wolves game 6 breakdown, then we really, really appreciate you. We appreciate you for being a part of this Baseline Bums community, whether you're watching the lives on YouTube, whether you're watching the clips on Instagram, on TikTok, the audio over at Apple Podcast. AJ's got the Twitter popping off. We're doing some great content over there. We got some great stuff happening on the Discord, so make sure you're joining there and tuning into those conversations. But wherever you are watching social media, that's where the Baseline Bums is. We are literally anywhere and everywhere, and we really want you to be a part of this Spurs community, because we got something really, really cool happening over here. We're going live after every single Spurs game. We're putting out fun content in between. We got a lot of really cool guests, some really fun guests lined up for next series. I can't wait to show you who we got lined up for the Western Conference Finals series. So a lot of fun stuff on the way. But that being said, we're going to hop off here and end this episode the same way we end all episodes. And that's with the go Spurs, go Western